subscribe.
James,
Yes.
it's been a while.
It has been a long time.
The man who needs no introduction, but we'll do a little one anyways. Quite the history in the industry across various companies, and now you've I thought you were the top dog at Viking a year ago, and then you've recently done a little bit of a career change.
Yeah, took over as the chairman of the board for the Viking Group here in North America. New opportunity, new role, a lot of the same duties that I had before, except for the daily operation of the company.
Right.
Jeremy Morton took over as CEO and freed me up to do a little bit more representation of the business, base of the business, association meetings.
I thought when I heard you were taking over as chairman of the board, what I originally thought, without having any discussion, assumed that this would mean a lot less travel time for you.
Oh, no.
I thought you were like, oh, he's getting to the point where he wants to not travel as much, but it seems like your travel is...
Yeah, my wife can confirm that for you.
Yeah.
That, the travel is as intense, if not a little bit more. I have been the vice chair with the NFSA for the past 4 years, and Jim Bollinger, the current chair, will be cycling off of his tenure in March.
Yep.
And if all the cards line up and the vote is appropriate, I'll take over as the chair for the NFSA, if elected. And I really am excited about that. I believe in growing the industry. I believe in the messaging about we have to be present not only in Washington, D.C., but at state level, county level, city level.
Yep.
And
that's where it starts.
it does.
Yeah.
And you need a grassroots level campaign, but you've got to start with a whole bunch of cold chicken dinners. I say that with all sincerity, that unless you're participating in these meetings, unless you're present at these chapter meetings, it's hard to influence them, and it's hard to convince them to do things if you're not one of them.
It's not just about reading the minutes of the meeting that happened the week before. You have to attend. You gotta have the face time and letting people know that you're interested and passionate about the industry.
Right. I tell the people that work for Viking to, not only go to these association or these chapter meetings, but volunteer. Become the secretary treasurer. Become the vice chair. Become the chair. Your circle of influence grows. The people that you know, because of that association they have, that you're a little bit different than just somebody attending the meeting. They see you at the front desk, or they see you collecting checks at the entrance. And I tell people, the smartest people in this industry that I know have the biggest circle of influence around them, and the people that have knowledge base.
Right.
So I don't know a single person that is the oracle of all.
Right.
But I know people that have resources.
You can't, especially in fire protection and life safety, you can't know everything about everything.
No.
And
No.
the AHJs that I communicate with, fire prevention officers, the building inspectors, things like that, a lot of people in fire protection give them a lot of slack for missing this, missing that. Those guys are the guys that have to know everything about everything. Egress pathways, emergency lighting, fire alarm, sprinkler. I'm expected to know a lot about sprinkler, and even that is...
And it changes.
There's a lot.
And it's constantly learning. You could imagine being an AHJ or an insurance rep or hazard analysis, and everything's changing in front of you. You're supposed to be an expert in all.
Yeah.
But the key is no experts.
Yeah, exactly. And that's even better.
Run an idea by, I've got people that I'm spoiled with UL and FM just because I've been doing research there for 35 years.
Yep.
And I can make a
Heard the stories.
I've burned a few things before.
Yep.
Just being able to make a phone call and knowing that it's not a biased answer. It's not a Viking answer. It's an industry answer. And I would do the same for anybody calling me. If they called me up and said, hey, I've got this problem, I don't need to know the manufacturer. I need to know what's the technology, what's the problem, what's the statement, and how are we going to get you through this if we can at all.
Yep.
But it's not a manufacturer issue, and sometimes the solutions are another manufacturer's product or another technology that we may not have. But when you do give that answer, those people appreciate that answer. They know you're a straight up person, and if they call you again, they're going to get a straight answer, and it may not be the Viking answer.
Right. Yeah. But it's the fire protection answer.
Right. That's the correct answer.
Yeah. Being the guy that's willing to say that and state that and come with that, say out in the open goes a long way.
I had one of my really good friends and was chair of one of the NFPA standards. So he's very knowledgeable and has a big circle of influence. He called me up, and the best answer was one of my competitors' sprinklers. And I kind of shook my head and I said, I've known you for a long time, and here it is. Here's the answer, and it's not a Viking product. I said, I have a like product, but it's not as good.
Yep.
And I said, and if I left you with that, you would hate me forever.
Right. That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. Well, especially because you're not questioning the answers moving forward, but understanding that you're not looking out for the best answer. You're looking out for the Viking answer, right?
He was a consultant, and he's going to have another challenge tomorrow. He'll have another challenge next week.
Right.
But if I'm still on that call list, I'll get 2 out of 3.
And that's a pass. It's a pass.
Yeah.
Yep. Talking to people, there's a lot of young people in the industry that are trying to figure out not necessarily where their mark is, but how to leave their mark in the industry. Yeah. Where do you recommend, fitters in the field, new designers, green designers? What's the absolute, it's hard to give a guy a career path when you never met him, but what's your big recommendation for kind of getting from that base level, lines and circles, pipe in the air?
I do a leadership and fire protection seminar where I go through my past and some other people that I've dealt with. And I'm particularly proud, I don't want to say proud, I'm particularly honored that I never had the opportunity to go to school. So I graduated high school and went straight into fire protection.
Yep.
I don't recommend the path. I recommend people get a degree. If you want to go into fire protection, there's fire protection engineering degrees, but there's also mechanical engineering degrees or other degrees that you can get that can start your career. But the one thing about our industry, once you're in, you're in.
Oh, it sinks its teeth into
you. You don't go far away from it because it will take care of its own, but you have to take care of it.
Yes.
So people will ask me, well, how do I get to a leadership position? How do I get to what you're doing? And people want to do it in 5 years. So I say, okay, if you want to be where I am in 5 years, go work somewhere else.
You got to start 40 years ago.
Yeah, just do something. But what we started with earlier, volunteer.
Well,
the industry will give you more. Start teaching. Start mentoring people. When I came in the industry, I started teaching plan review, hydraulics, and field inspection. As a contractor, I was a designer.
Yep.
I was 19 years old when I started teaching.
Okay.
Because the fire authorities didn't have a source that was industry related.
Yep.
They had a whole bunch of association stuff that was coming in and doing a PowerPoint presentation.
Yep.
They needed to know local, on the field. I'd bring them to our job sites.
Yep.
We'd walk them through. We'd show them proper hangar spacing. We'd show them bracing and California. And I learned more teaching them than I ever taught them.
Interesting. Now, is that just because you've got to get to that next level of knowledge to be able to relay the information?
You can read whatever standard you want.
Yeah.
But have someone else where you have to teach it. You're reading that paragraph, you're teaching it, but someone else has field experience to what you just said.
Yep.
And they say, well, what about this? What about when that beam isn't thick enough for that lag bolt?
Right.
What about, and they've hit all of these things, and they're challenging you as the teacher.
Yep.
Now, the best answer is, I don't know. It took me years to learn how to say I don't know, because your first response is, I'm the teacher, I'm supposed to know.
Yep.
But the best response is, I don't know, I'll get back to you. Yep. And you go find that answer. And then all of a sudden you start finding this circle of influence. Because now you have to call Tulco, or you have to call AFCON at the time. And I know I'm going to piss off one of my suppliers here. So whatever the brand is, you find someone in there that gives you straight answers. You go get that answer. But the more I taught, the more I learned.
Right.
And then volunteering for these association meetings. So way back, it was Bay Area Fire Protection Forum.
Okay.
It was fire authorities getting together to talk about issues of fire protection.
Yep.
But it was all over the map. And fire sprinklers were a part of it, but it wasn't the sole.
It's not the whole thing.
It wasn't the whole
Yes.
thing. So I went to a lot of dinners and listened to a whole bunch of people talk about crazy stuff.
Going to essentially like a mini fire. Yeah.
A monthly association called Bay Area Fire Forum. And I would go, and I'm 19, 20 years old, and said, we need a secretary treasurer. My hand goes up. I could do that. I could balance a checkbook. And all of a sudden, I became the secretary treasurer, then the program chairman, then the chair. Then I'm the chair of the 9 Bay Area counties of fire marshals that are all getting together to talk about issues.
As a sprinkler guy.
As a young kid,
Yep.
but when I walked into a plan review, or I walked into, hey, James, how you doing?
Yep.
That's your circle. So the young people, what I tell them is, you want to go far in this industry?
Yep.
Give this industry something.
Agree.
It will return tenfold, and you'll grow. But if you don't, if you'd rather jet ski on the weekend, you'd rather go to the bar with your friends at night every night instead of going to a chapter meeting, it's okay. It's a good industry.
Yep.
It'll keep you employed.
It'll keep you employed. It'll keep you working. It'll
Right.
keep your kids fed.
But if you want to grow, you want to be a leader, and you want to excel in this industry, give it something.
Yep.
It will give it back to you.
You water the plant to make it grow.
Yep.
Awesome. That's probably, we've had this conversation a lot, and this is one of those things in the industry that, how do we attract people into the industry is kind of the big, no, I won't say flavor of the month, but one of the big troubles that people are having right now in fire protection is we need fitters, we need new apprentices, we need people that want to get in the industry and stay in the industry. But I think that stay in the industry is almost more important than recruiting new people into the industry at this point, because getting the people in that are passionate, that are willing to put the time in and learn, those are the guys that are going to keep it.
And we're losing many of them because of the retirements and the
Yes.
age and cycling out of the field and going into, office roles or something like that. And that's great. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to grow
Evolution.
ranks.
Yep.
But it's that backfill, and it's that passion that's difficult to find. I studied codes, and it just seems like that.
And develop them. You were involved in the development process on a
later.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Okay.
But I remember ordering the ROP-ROC.
Okay.
I'm going to test your memory here. Way back with NFPA, before first revision, second revision, and all the code change cycle, it used to be report on proposals and report on comments. And I wanted to know, why did the code change?
Right.
So I read the code. I read it multiple times.
Yeah.
But you get as good as you could read the paragraph.
Yep.
But when you read the proposals and the comments and the debate of the committee, you start to understand the logic behind it.
Right.
So in the 1980s, 83, 84, I ordered all of the ROP-ROCs back into the 70s
Oh, okay.
to find out every change that was made to how I got to this current standard, and what paragraphs changed, why did they change, to who changed them, and what was the information they used for it.
Right.
And when you're in a meeting and someone's quoting that section to you, you go, Dan, do you realize that changed in 1978?
Yeah.
And it was this proposal, and here's the information.
Are you still doing that every revision?
I don't any. I did up. I 24 years. I was on NFPA 13.
Right.
And I chaired the storage for 16 of those years. And yes, I knew every up through maybe 10 years ago. So when I joined Viking, I had to, actually I became on Standards Council.
Right.
So when I came on Standards Council, I withdrew off of most of my NFPA standards, and then I joined Viking. And Viking had a very competent staff of people on the NFPA committees.
Right.
So it was better for me to step down and let other people continue to grow and do what they do, because too many old bulls sit on top of the hill and don't let people, expand their wings.
Don't let the young dogs eat.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we've got very competent people, and it was better for me to step down. And it's one of the hardest things I've ever done.
I believe it.
Because I'm listening to changes. I'm listening to, my team coming back and giving me feedback of, hey, Wes Baker with FM made this proposal. And I'm like, oh, and you said this, right? Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But
Being a fire protection codes and standards historian has a lot of gumph behind it. Well, Wes Baker, I would think, would be a similar guy to that as well.
no, he's good. I just
Yeah. He's the name that popped
so
up.
he would.
Sorry, Wes.
Nah, he'll be okay. It's all in good gesture. He's grown significantly since I've known him, in the fire protection community of influence.
100%. Yeah.
So he's a good friend.
He's been a guy we've had many conversations about having him on the podcast, but it's never lined up, and I don't know why. I don't know if it might be personal.
No, I know him better than that. He's he represents FM and FM global system with the best of them.
Yeah. Yep.
With the best of them.
Yep. Awesome. So, what's next? What are you doing next?
Gonna change the industry again.
How many times can you change the industry?
14.
14, and you're on
12. We're looking at a patent wall, behind the camera.
Yeah.
There's a couple hundred patents on that wall, and we're just getting started. We have great ideas, new challenges. People say, how do you innovate? And the first thing I tell them is listen. And they're like, well, what do you mean, listen? I said, I've got my name is on over 100 patents globally.
Yeah.
I've never had a creative thought in my life. I've never had a shower moment where I said,
Find a problem.
I now know the answer to a challenge that I've never thought about before.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen.
Yep.
But if you listen, if you travel, and you listen to your customers, and you listen to the problem statements, every patent that I've ever had my name associated with was a solution to a problem.
Right.
But you have to be able to listen to the problem.
That's fair. Yeah. Accept that things need to change and not just say, here it is, and it's...
Yeah, or here's my best solution to that problem. Then you stop thinking about it.
Yep.
Well, if you take the problem statement and you say, there's a better way to do that. Now, you got to satisfy economics. You got to satisfy return on investment. You got to satisfy a whole bunch of things before, can I make an ESFR residential sprinklers?
Yep.
I can make a suppression ESFR residential sprinkler. Not one person in this world wants to buy one. So maybe you might.
I'd like to have it on the wall, but...
You just think it's cool.
Yeah.
But better isn't always economic.
Agree.
And better doesn't always sell. But there are those key moments, extra large orifice.
The prime example of that is years ago, I was super frustrated. I was working on a design for 13D, and I needed a institutional style residential sprinkler, the damage proof for residential for a group home.
Yeah.
And I went to a bunch of manufacturers. Do you guys make this? No. Well, why not? Because you're the second person in 50 years that has asked for that. Right? Like, we're not...
Well, you wanted a sensitive, robust sprinkler.
That's right. Yeah. I want a sprinkler that's going to work, but I don't want a guy to smash it and flood the building out, right? And it was literally like, if a house has got, a residential group home's got 30, 40 sprinklers, one of them was going to be this type. I understand. It doesn't make sense.
You were probably on the precursor to institutional sprinklers being required to be quick response because of the light hazard rule.
Right.
In 1996. So 1996, Chet Shermer decided he wanted to leave a legacy. And he came up with a proposal through third-party channels coming into NFPA to require quick response for light hazard.
Okay. As a requirement and not a...
As a requirement.
Yeah.
And he knew that it was a better sprinkler for that application than a standard response sprinkler.
Right.
And you kind of have to appreciate what a standard response sprinkler is in the terms of the definition that it can go 3.5 minutes at temperature and still not operate.
Yep.
The quick response has a very narrow response, and you get water on the fire early, and there's never a bad reason in light hazard. So he wanted that to go through, but here you are with institutional prisons, mental institutions are light hazard.
Yep.
Oh, we need that to be quick response now.
How do you have a robust
we didn't think
that activates?
We thought about we thought about all the good reasons we were going to do it.
Yep.
Now, this is in a cell, so you don't have a lot of volume of area, so the sprinklers are going to activate faster, even of a standard response type. They're going to operate faster in the cell, but not fast enough to call a QR. So the challenge was, okay, we got to make a sensitive sprinkler that you can't remove components from, that you can't have wings or fins or anything that the prisoners can remove, melt into a toothbrush and make a razor blade out of it.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is go to one museum. I don't say go to prison. One museum
We'll see.
Of weapons that are made by the prisoners.
Yes.
And you find out real fast that you can't have any external components that can be removed, broken off.
Very ingenuitive there.
Huge challenge to make quick response for life safety in a prison.
So what was the solution?
Making a bigger link, burying the edges into the body of the sprinkler.
Yep.
And having very small lever arms that come out that fill the gap or the void so they can't go in and remove the link.
Right.
That's the answer.
That's the answer. So he did leave his legacy.
He did.
Boy, did he ever.
Well, I'll give you, how do you grow? When I first joined Central Sprinkler in 1991, they sent me to the NFSA ENS. So I joined the ENS, found out that they were all going to this NFPA 13 meeting, and I could join as a guest. So I went there, and Chet Shermer ran that committee for 23 years.
Oof.
They don't allow that any longer. But for 23 years, he was the chairman. Very, very 1950s, 60s guy. Ran the committee with an iron fist, in my opinion. I introduced myself. I said I was here as a guest. He said, welcome. He said, do not sit at the main table. You're welcome to sit at the side of the room. He says, don't raise your hand and don't say a word.
Good talk. All right.
I said, yes, sir.
Yep.
So I sat there and I listened to the debate, and it was the Russ Flemings, the Ken Ismans, the Rolf Jensens, the Chet Shermers, the Bill Thomases of Kemper, Ken Linder, IRI.
Yep.
Icon.
The guys.
I'm just sitting there like a kid in a candy store watching these guys, and the information they were spewing.
Those guys, for anybody that's asking, would be the James Golinveaux of today.
In that time, they were just awesome, and the experience they had and the testing that they had, not all correct. That was the cool part, because we've been learning every year over year. We continue to learn. We'll learn again next year. Something that we're doing today, but eventually I showed up enough as a guest that he knew who I was. Well, to get on to NFPA, two people have to agree. One's the staff liaison, and the other one is the chair.
Okay.
If they agree, and they don't have to, but it helps in the recommendation, that goes to the Standards Council as a recommendation for membership. So when my name came up for membership, he knew who I was.
Yep.
So it helped get me on, even though I went on through the NFSA at the time. But it helped me get on because recognition. Why did I get it? because I sat on the side of the room
Because you did.
and I didn't raise my hand, and I didn't say a word as I was directed to.
Yep.
And I was so excited. In '94, I got on the committee. There's 3 years that I've been participating in this, and got to know Chet, got to know Rolf
Yep.
in cocktail hour or just the associated stuff. Got my membership. I walk in. Chet says, "Welcome to the committee.
Yep.
You can sit at the table." He goes, "Don't raise your hand." He says, "Don't say a word."
Next year you can contribute.
He said, "Look around you." He goes, "Look at the expertise around you. You're better to listen.
Well,
Give it a psych.
yep.
Listen to what these guys say. Listen to their expertise, because all you're going to do is prove you're an idiot." That's what he said. That's exactly what he said.
You better not talk and let everybody.
He just said, "You're just going to prove."
Open your mouth and move all down.
But he turned out to be a great mentor. When he did the quick response, he made a breakfast meeting. It's like my summit meeting to and the end of the Cold War to
Yep.
me. I was sitting at a breakfast meeting with Rolf Jensen, Chet Shermer, and myself, talking about Chet wanted to leave a legacy of quick response for light hazard. And nobody else has that story. And I just thought it was the coolest story that I had. I'm just having breakfast. I'm the kid having breakfast, and, I'm talking to him about the hydraulic criteria and the credit, the area reduction. And we're talking about the math to that and what it meant.
Yep.
And kind of a funny story.
I have a similar story in regards to that with me and Joe Meyer, a mutual friend of ours, where Boston NFPA, you invited me out for a drink, and I thought it was one of those, we're at the conference, you invite everybody out to drink. So I'm out with Joe that night, and we're sitting at a small pub just doing our daily debrief like we do at all these conferences. And then you text me saying "Are you coming?" And Joe's like, "Oh, who's that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's James." And he's like, "James who?" I was like, "I'm Golinveaux." And he's like, why is James Golinveaux texting me? And I was like, "Well, he said, let's go for a drink tonight." And he's like, "And you stood him up to hang out with me?" And I was like, no, I didn't stand him up. I thought it was one of those yeah, come to this place. I'm having drinks tonight. I thought it was one of those. And then he's like, do you think we can still get? I was like, "It's on the other side of town, dude." And he was livid because he was a guy I looks up to you.
Yeah.
So one of those things.
But you showed the passion and the potential of somebody who cared, and that's who you invite out. That's who you want. I want to make you part of that circle. I want to introduce you to people, that can influence that circle for you because you care.
I do. And I mean, yes. It's not these.
You can't change the stripes on that one.
These aren't for views. I very, my wife constantly is kind of like.
Nah, I've never seen any. Let's see.
All the way. What do you got?
I want to see which ones that I was a part of an invention.
Oh,
this one.
Yep.
That's the K25 ESFR.
Yep.
I'm named on that one. That's an old school logo.
That's a nice logo.
Yeah,
That's
an old school logo. That's a Parmalee.
Yep. These are all these. This one here. These are old.
You know the story of the Parmalee?
I don't.
Parmalee was in Rhode Island.
Okay.
Well, Grinnell was in Rhode Island, Providence Steam and Gas, and then you know what we built in Cranston, Rhode Island. But Grinnell bought the rights to the Parmalee sprinkler.
Okay.
But Grinnell also invented the first sensitive automatic sprinkler, because that sprinkler, all the water was inside the solder cap.
Right.
And you had to heat the water up to melt the solder. If you've ever tried to solder two pieces of copper, it has some water inside.
Yeah.
Well, that's how slow that thing was.
Yeah.
So in 1896,
Yep.
A place called Warehouse Mutual Something Insurance, part of the original FM system,
Yep.
wrote to Parmalee, the Nantucket Piano Manufacturing Company, and said, you need to replace those sprinklers with a more sensitive sprinkler.
So this is before NFPA 13, before any codes and standards. The guy who invented the sprinkler was told by an insurance company to change what he was
It's the first replacement program in our industry. Mark Fessington found the letter for me, and I have a copy of it still. And you have to know, the letter says, we understand Henry's I don't have the right word, affection for his product, but it's time to change it to this more sensitive sprinkler,
Right.
because Grinnell put the link on the outside.
Right. Yeah.
So
And that'd be the Model A.
I believe it was. I don't, but it was talking about 50 cents a sprinkler. So we haven't gone up much in price.
A little bit. Just a little bit. By a multiplier of, say, 10.
But not 110 years worth or 130 years worth. Come on, man.
That's right. Yeah. So we're getting a deal.
I know.
Fire protection.
I know. I don't know what's wrong with the pricing on this.
Yeah. So Mark actually gave me a really interesting story on this, with the approvals and the listing on all of these ESFRs. The information is on the bottom of the deflector, and what he told me, and this was in Cleveland at Blaze Masters event that you were at, and he said for some reason in the testing, the etching of the information on the inside affected the spray pattern versus on the outside. And I don't know if it's true or not. You would know better than I would. Is there an issue with the deflector with the etching on the outside versus the inside?
There can be, but I don't remember that being part of the story. But
I'll send you the link.
Okay. No, it's just fun to see those designs and the technology and the advancements of the industry. You've got from the beginning almost to the most current.
Yeah. Yep. When I was here last week, I was doing a tour of the thing, and I had already texted my tattoo guy a couple of. I was like, I like this one. He's like, we could fit it in there. When do you want to come? I'm like,
at my
sometime over holidays.
Wedding to Pamela, I had an ice sculpture made. I had to get special permission from the K25 ESFR from Tyco at the time to turn the design over to an ice sculpture, and we made a shot luge out of it.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
That would be awesome.
It was.
How big?
It was 4 feet tall. They had to have a ladder, and they put the shot in the top.
I would be so upset as the night went on, as that just starts.
Oh, it lasted. It lasted longer than anyone could last doing shots out of it.
Wow, that's fair. Yeah. But that'd be cool. That'd be a cool thing to have. I'm looking at a bunch of things like I said. My wife says my wife thinks I need hobbies that aren't sprinkler. I think she's crazy. But I'm looking at like getting into 3D printing and stuff like that. And what kind of things can I play with from a 3D printing standpoint?
A lot.
Yeah, I was looking at your setup out there.
6 or 7 of them in the back. And
Yep.
We're starting to get into other materials now.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll get into steel. And the rapid prototyping now is just amazing.
Yeah. How fast? Well, I mean, I won't say fast because it's still a process to get something developed and patented and all that stuff. But the speed from some of the ones on the wall to other ones on the wall is crazy.
I could prototype now in 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
That's just the amazing part. We have vendors or end users that come up to us with some challenges, and can you modify this, in this way? Well, let's prototype it and see.
Yeah.
If I have to do it out of castings, it could take 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Here, 4 to 6 hours.
Tell you tomorrow.
I can tell you whether it's going to work.
Yeah.
And then I know whether I should go invest in a casting and
Yeah.
and
Lighters to fire.
right.
Yeah. Awesome, James.
Always a pleasure to see.
We came into this with, what do you want to talk about? I don't know. You want to just sit and let it rock? And
We could go back through a lot of times and inventions and technology changes and our industry beliefs. That's what I'm amazed by, because we still don't have all the answers.
no. And
We have challenges out there with automatic storage rack systems.
yeah, fire protection is such a moving target because we keep inherently changing the way we do things.
We went ceiling, and we ran to 55 feet.
Yep.
We're getting to the point where it's going to jump an aisle before it hits the ceiling, and we're right at that threshold, 55, 60, somewhere up in that area.
Yep.
But it's not better fire protection. The best fire protection are in-rack sprinklers.
Right.
Get the fire early.
nice and contained.
Get the fire early,
Yeah.
and just control the thing before it ever gets to the ceiling. So, I'm a big proponent of the ESFRs, and everyone says, "Oh, that's the best technology ever." No, it's not. The best technology, old school, put in racks in, put a lot of them in there.
Yeah.
Kill that fire before it ever grows.
Yep.
It's like who shot the sheriff?
Yeah, put the wet stuff on the hot stuff before it.
Yes.
gets
And if you're waiting to go 55 feet in the ceiling,
you've got a big
you have a
flammable
big-
fire to penetrate.
right, and very little air effect.
Yep.
So
Awesome. That's a whole other conversation, man. Thanks again. Thank you for everything that Viking does and you do to support the podcast. And it's still crazy from a point of view. I've been doing this for
it's our pleasure.
8 years now, and it's the amount of, it's crazy to call you a friend. I'll say that.
It's an honor. It's an honor to call you. Thank you very much. You take care.
Awesome.